Hello, welcome to UNCG's School of Education and Project Enriches Strengthening Our Profession. This is Year 2 Online Academy for OSTs and Clinical Teachers. My name is Matt Fisher. I'll be one of the facilitators for the course, along with Rita Jennings, who will be our main facilitator for this training. The purpose of this video is just to give you a quick orientation to the online platform that we'll be using and to show you where you might find your resources within the course. So let's start here. This is the main screen that you'll find when you enter the course. You'll see here there's announcements. Always check here the announcements to see if we've posted anything. You'll also receive emails if an announcement is posted. But you can see right here there are two announcements. One's the welcome and one is the assignment completion chart, which we'll talk about shortly. So over here, this is the course information over here on this side, and we're going to start here. So the first thing to do when you enter the course is just start here. This is where you're watching this video, of course. And you'll have our welcome. This is some information on how to navigate the course. Also some information on some technical information you'll need just to make sure that your computer is up and running and ready to run the course. Here is a site to test for Blackboard Collaborate. We also have some links for Blackboard Orientation, Netiquette, where to go for technical assistance, and then this is a link to our training module. So let's go into our pre-training module. You can either enter it right here or you can enter it here. But before we do that, let's actually look at a couple more things here in this menu. You have our instructor information here. Information on how to get a hold of Rita and I. A link to announcements. This is the course calendar. This is the course syllabus. Right here, these are important dates that you'll need to be online with us. Tuesday the 29th from 10 to noon. Tuesday the 5th, August 5th from 10 to noon. And Tuesday the 12th from 10 to noon. And then there's also the dates listed for the asynchronous sessions as well. You'll also find here's a link to the course syllabus. So you can click here and download the syllabus. It should download automatically for you. So all the information here for the course is everything you'll need to know about the topics that we'll be covering and different activities that you'll have to participate and complete during this course. We've got some various tools that you might be using throughout the course here. And then there's a help. This goes to the main Blackboard help for students. So the main part of your course here is going to be in the enriched training content. So let's click in here. All right, and you're going to see a couple links in here. This is the links to the participants packet, and we ask that you download the Module 4 participant packet during your pre-training because you're going to need these documents for our first synchronous session. There's also a link to the TGAP standards, which you'll need later on. And then we have our pre-training. These are assignments that we ask you to complete before our first synchronous session on the 29th. In fact, that we ask you to have these done by Monday the 28th at 3 o'clock, just so we can know who's done their assignments so we can move on to the synchronous session. So let's click in here to the pre-training. Okay. The first thing we ask you to do is it's a quick intro of yourself, and this is for our discussion board. So when you click here, you're going to see that Rita and I have already done our intros. So just kind of come in here. You can read what I wrote. You can go back and read what Rita wrote. But we ask you to respond to the questions. If you create a new thread, you'll see some questions for you, such as what is your name, educational background, and other questions, just something that we can get to know you better by. And make sure to include a recent photo of yourself because we'll be playing a game during our first synchronous session. Okay, so the next step is to test your computer's system to make sure that it's able to connect to Blackboard Collaborate. So this link here, test your system's requirements here, click here. It'll bring you to this Blackboard Collaborate page, and what you want to do is navigate down here to it says web conferencing first time users. All right, so let's click here, and it's going to open up a new page. And this page will show you if your operating system works, and also if Java is updated as well. You can see here I need to update my Java. So what you would do is just click, I believe right here, update your Java, and it'll allow you to download the most recent version of Java. It's really important that you have that updated before the first Collaborate session so you can log in without any problems. Also, you'll notice I'm using Chrome. Actually, the best web browser to probably use for this would be Firefox or Safari, if you have either one of those. Those are the two. Try not to use Internet Explorer. Chrome works, but sometimes it gets a little wonky, so try to use Firefox or Safari. All right, so let's say you've downloaded that, you're updated for your Collaborate. The next thing is, I've got another link to the participants packet here in case you forgot to do it before. All right, now this is the section where you're going to review some concepts covered in Module 1, 2, and 3. So what we've done is we've created videos for topics such as ICF, Focus Scripting Tool, the Seating Chart Tool, Collaborative Reflection Log, Language Stems, TEMA. You can kind of go in and watch these quick videos just to kind of give yourself a refresher for the topics that we covered in the Year 1 training. So before our synchronous session on the 29th, we'd like you to complete this collaborative reflection log. So you might remember collaborative reflection logs from the Year 1 training. And here's one, but it might look different than the one we used. There's 4 topics. This is use the CRL to reflect on the past year's experience in working with a UNCG teacher candidate. What worked? What were the challenges? Next steps? And support needed. And the way that we're going to do this is to share it with everybody is we're going to use a website called Padlet. So what you do is you'll click here and this will open up Padlet. And you'll notice that those 4 columns are right here. And what you're going to do is you just kind of click in here. You type your name, Matt Fisher, and then what worked. I think that blank, blank, blank worked really well for me. Okay, and you can come over here to the challenges and do the same thing. Matt Fisher. I had particular challenges with blank, 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 and fill in those. And what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to see what all of your colleagues also wrote as well in each of those 4 areas of the collaborative reflection log. And the last thing we're going to ask you to do is to start looking at the North Carolina mentor standards. You can see here you've actually been assigned one of the 5 mentor standards. And before our first synchronous session, we ask that you start to unpack these standards to become familiar with them. Because during our first synchronous session, you're going to pair up with a person who's reviewing the same standard as you, and you're going to be presenting on that standard to the group. So we want to make sure you don't spend a lot of time on this task. What we really want to do is just make sure that you're familiar with it. So what you're going to do, you kind of look over your standard, and you're going to identify the main idea of each element for your standard. Examine the differences in verbiage as you move from left to right on the continuum, and then think about evidence that could be used to determine proficient placement on the continuum. So when you get into the synchronous session, we're going to use this note-taking guide to summarize your ideas to share with other members of our course. If you have any questions about this first activity, you can email us at any time and we'll be glad to answer your questions that you may have about this assignment. So that's it for our pre-training. What will happen is as we progress through the course in this enriched training content, this is where Module 4 and Module 5 will open up once we reach that time in the course. The next area that I want to draw your attention to is over here, and this is Collaborate Session Access. And this is where we're going to access for our synchronous sessions. So you'll click Collaborate. We'll put our name in here, Matt Fisher, and you log in. What it's going to do, if you look down here, it's going to download a Collaborate meeting. Open that up. Click on that, what it just downloaded. You'll probably get this. These 2 windows will open up, and you want to run this application. Don't get scared if it gives you a security warning. See, remember, I'd have to update my Java. I will do that as soon as we're done this training. And you'll see here it's connecting. Now I'm in the course. When you get this screen, you'll know you're in the course. And you'll have access to the different tools. You can kind of mess around with the different, draw on the board if you like, see what you got there, blah, blah, blah. You'll be able to play with these tools here. We'll go over how to use Collaborate in detail during our first session. But for now, just make sure that you can log in and you can access this screen. That's really important. Okay, so when you close out, leave the session, goodbye. The next thing I want to show you today is this is where our assignment completion chart will be located. So you click here, and what you'll get is this is our completion chart. And what we're going to do is we're going to be able to update this chart when you've completed different assignments. So when you complete them, we'll mark it with an X, and you'll be able to see and follow what assignments you've done and where your classmates are and the progress of this. So you notice here for pre-training, we have a Getting to Know You post, Collaborative Reflection Log Padlet, and then Unpacking the Standards in Continuum. And there's no checks for this because we're just going to use your work in the first synchronous session on the 29th. So we will keep this updated throughout the course. You'll notice there's spaces for Module 4 and 5, and we'll be adding assignments as we introduce them to you, and you'll be able to track which ones you have completed. Here's a link to our discussion boards. Occasionally we'll be participating in discussion boards with our colleagues, and you'll have a space for a private journal. We may ask you to complete a private journal that only you and the facilitators will have access to. That about wraps it up for your orientation for the course. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us. Our information for contact is right here. Here's Rita's and here's mine. And we look forward to working with you starting on July 29th in our first synchronous session.